Norway chess drops out of the Grand Chess Tour. Peter Dawkers joins us to give all the details behind this controversial decision. Hikaru goes down against Komodo, but not before he gets all of humanity talking about what it might take to slay the beast. And of course, we look ahead to the Tata Steel Masters event getting set to kick off 2016 in style. It's Chesscenter. It's the only place you need to be for breaking chess news. Let's get started. Well, Sean, our surprise of the week comes to us as the Norway Super Final and the organizational team behind it pulls the plug on the 2016 Grand Chess Tour, disappointing many fans of the tour. But how surprised are you regarding their decision to pull out?
I never saw this coming. I mean, the Grand Chess Tour, in my mind, went great. There was a little bit of iffiness about the rules at the end, and I thought they were going to change those up and then move forward. But it looks like Norway has dropped out. The reasons they gave made some sense, though. They want to be financially viable in a way that the other two tournaments aren't. I think the real question for us going forward is looking at who might replace that leg on the tour. The Grand Chess Tour says they're still going. They're going to add another tournament. Maybe YKZ would have been the perfect candidate, but it looks like that's about to start too soon. So I'm interested to see who fills in that gap.
Yeah, even though I don't know if we have information on that point yet, we will kick it over to Peter Dawkers now in the featured news to bring us the full details behind this decision from Norway. Peter, you have the mic. Don't drop it. Well, and as we said, Peter, we are now passing the microphone over to you, moving on from Surprise of the Week. Hopefully you have some more details on this Norway and Grand Chess Tour situation.
Yeah, that was indeed a big story last week. Norway chess out of the Grand Chess Tour. In a phone call, Joran Aulin Jansson, spokesperson for Norway Chess, stated, "Our views differ mostly with regards to commercial sponsorship and what we hope to build. We believe that to create sustainability for a tour like this, most of the financing should be based on commercial sponsorship." Well, the thing is, the other two tournaments in St. Louis and London, they exist basically by the grace of two benefactors. A billionaire in St. Louis, Rex Sinquefield, who supports the Sinquefield Cup, and then a benefactor in London who has always remained somewhat in the background. Well, the Norwegians are not happy with the pace at which these two tournaments are looking for external sponsors.
It's interesting. I admit I tend to understand how Norway feels, but I wonder if the Grand Chess Tour cares.
Yeah, and in a comment to chess.com, Malcolm Payne, the tournament director for London, stated, "I don't view it as a serious setback. We're confident that we can continue on a similar basis." And this message was later sort of confirmed by an official press release by the Grand Chess Tour, in which it was stated that there will be a tour this year and there will be a third tournament, yet to be announced.
Well, I admit I can't really wait for the third tournament to be announced. Who knows where it will be in the world and how it will help the Grand Chess Tour move forward. What else you got, Peter?
Yes, well, there are two more topics I'd like to discuss this week. First, the Keres Memorial, a strong rapper tournament held in an otherwise very quiet chess week. Held in Tallinn, Estonia, the tournament was of course dedicated to Paul Keres, the great Estonian grandmaster who passed away in 1975, but was born exactly 100 years ago on 7th of January. The tournament was surprisingly won by Igor Kovalenko, although the Ukrainian-born Latvian grandmaster is a bit of a rapid specialist, they say.
Well, congratulations to the young Ukrainian. Now, I understand we've just had some sad news, breaking news, just come across our desk this morning. What is that?
Yeah, we have to end this featured news section this week on a very sad note. A day after the news that David Bowie passed away, the chess world encountered a shock as well. Grandmaster Ivan Bukovshin apparently suffered from a stroke and also died, only at the age of 20 years old. He was a very talented player. For example, last month he won the Russian Cup, so it's just terrible news. Boris Gelfand commented to chess.com,
Very sad.
"I'm in total shock. He was just 20. I just played with Ivan in the Nutcracker tournament. After our classical game we went to dinner together and he made a very good impression. Talented, ambitious, with a classical attitude, very creative in openings. I was sure he'll get to 2700 in forthcoming years. A very friendly young man. Very deep condolences for his family and friends. It is hard to accept this loss and focus on saying more."
Well said by Boris Gelfand. Very sad news, and we thank you for being there right as things break and letting us know the details.
All right, Denny, see you next week.
Thank you, Peter. Welcoming Grandmaster Robert Hess. Of course, we are now reviewing the move and blunder of the week. Now, Robert, both the move and blunder come to us from the Keres Memorial, and I got to say, I don't know which move deserves more praise. If it's the first move that David Howell plays in this position or the second move. But I'm going to let you take the wheel and walk everybody through what he saw when he started off this brilliant combination with the move knight to f6 check.
Danny, he just saw checkmate to the end here with knight f6 check. Black is forced to capture on f6 with g takes f6. And here David Howell saw that if your bishop takes f6, there are a lot of holes around the black king. Black is forced to remove the knight from e5 over to g6. And after queen h5, well, queen h6 followed by queen g7 is leading to checkmate. So black was forced to try the move e5. And here's the wham, bam, kablam, rook c6, Danny.
Ouch. That move cuts off communication from the queen to the bishop and basically forces, as what you described, to happen. The queen's coming to h6 to g7. And again, just to do a little instant replay here, because everyone loves that, it's nice to see that the combination started with knight f6 check wasn't just a lucky follow-through, that white had already calculated that there would be no defense for black because of this brilliant sort of guerrilla tactic, right? The rook confuses things with rook to c6. Black tries his best, Jumabayev trying to sacrifice the queen, anything to avoid mate at this point, right? But still, David Howell comes forward, wins the queen, and with it goes on to win the game pretty quickly here. As you can see, the mating attack ensued, and eventually Jumabayev resigned. So everyone sit tight. We will be back in just a moment with the greatness from Blunder of the Week. Both sides playing interesting chess. And Robert, I'll see you in just a few segments, buddy. Our social experiment was successful this week, Sean. We held Man versus Machine, Hikaru Nakamura versus the Dragon Komodo. Fans were following it all over the world, and even fellow Super GMs along with Hikaru. We had this tweet from Anish Giri who said, funky match of at GM Hikaru versus one of the strongest chess engines with odds for humankind. Rooting against the Skynet, but no optimism. Obviously making the Terminator reference there, and I'm of course just waiting for the day that Google becomes self-aware. What was your favorite part of the match, and what do you think is most interesting about Anish Giri's tweet here?
Well, I think Anish Giri points out the quiet desperation of the end of human days and the upcoming apocalypse of AI, and this is not looking good for Team Humanity. So it was painful to watch. I had a lot of hope for Nakamura. He'd had some really good matches against computers before, and you can check out Sam Copeland's article about that. But and so I had high hopes, and those were dashed on the cruel rocks of defeat by Komodo.
Well, I actually saw a little bit of what we expected. I think Hikaru had his chances in the exchange odds version when he had the rook on b8. He came close, wasn't able to deliver, and everyone felt the inevitable in the final game as Komodo just slowly outplayed the world number 5. So interesting thoughts from Anish Giri, and we'd like to hear more interesting thoughts from our community. On this note, because the matches were so popular, the poll this week is asking you, who would you like to see next? Of course, we know you're going to want to root for guys like Magnus Carlsen and Anish Giri, but let us know others. Use the forum and give us an opinion of people you would like to see take the Man versus Machine challenge in our weekly poll, and look for more matches like this on chess.com in the year 2016. As we welcome in FIDE Master Mike Klein, of course, we shift over to the other news portion of Chess Center. Now, Mike, before we dive into the events and all the storylines, we got to ask, what's that stuff on your face?
That's the burning question. Danny, I've decided not to shave until somebody goes 9-0 at one of our Title Tuesdays. It's never happened. Although last month, Dmitry Andrikin came very close. In the early event, he won his first date and quickly won Grandmaster Lenderman's queen in the first 20 moves. But not only could he not finish off the win, Lenderman came all the way back with his rook and minor piece to turn the table. So Andrikin still won the event at 8-1, but no $500 Fisher bonus prize for him. In the late event, Andrikin got a slow start, ended up tying for second with Nakamura and Vachier-Lagrave, but beating all of them was the Azeri Grandmaster Nijat Abasov with 7.5 out of 9. So a really nice effort by him to beat 3 world-class players. Yeah,
and really nice to just see so many young GMs competing in these tournaments that we hold every first Tuesday of every month. Now, speaking of young GMs, I understand the Pan American Championships just came to a close. Webster University, the heavy favorite. Of course, everyone knows that is home for Susan Polgar's Spice program. They were not able to defend their title. Now, what storylines do you have for us from that event?
Well, really, there's two. Any college team from the Western Hemisphere can compete, but the big, heavy favorite, Webster University, the top team by about 100 rating points, lost their first match ever. Their A team had never lost before in any level of competition. Winning the tournament, though, was Texas Tech. They call themselves Check Them Tech, a little play on their football slogan of Wreck 'em Tech. Their team is only 3 years removed from basically vanishing. When Susan Polgar moved the team from Texas Tech to Webster, the top 10 players left Texas Tech. So a great rebuilding job there by Coach Grandmaster Alex Onishuk, and congratulations to those 4 players. They will move on to the Final Four of college chess.
Yeah, I think you highlight the most interesting storyline well. It'll be fun to see if there's a rivalry that builds between Susan Polgar's new school and her former program. Now, before we let you go, there were a few other events that happened over the last couple of weeks. Not necessarily big, but still worthy of note here. What were some of those?
They were all over Europe the last week of 2015. The Rilton Cup in Stockholm has become Grandmaster Hammer's personal playground. He wasn't able to win. He's won the last couple of events, but he did clear 2,700. So Norway now has 2 2,700 Super Grandmasters. Winning the tournament, and by the way, also clearing the hurdle of 2,700, was Grandmaster Maxim Rajtin of Israel. He has been top talent for a while, but he's finally joined in the ranks of the top 50 or so in the world. Also, Grandmaster Arkady Naidish, another Azeri Grandmaster, won not one, but 2 events leading to the close of 2015. He won in Zurich and he won in Basel. There's also a tournament in Hastings, Danny, that took place. There's just so much to cover. I would invite our viewers to go to chess.com/news and read all about these events.
Yeah, and absolutely always a good decision to recommend chess.com/news for those looking to stay in touch with everything happening in the chess world. Mike, we appreciate you staying in touch, and we will see you in time trouble, my friend.
Thank you, Danny.
Welcoming back Grandmaster Robert Hessen. Robert, as I said, both the move and blunder coming to us from the Carriers Memorial. Games that would have made the legendary Estonian Grandmaster proud, at least some moves that were played, and maybe here, not so much, as Boris Gelfand plays the interesting idea Knight H5. Now, the pony is headed in for F4. Looks pretty nice, right? Forking the rook, the queen, and the pawn on H3, and certainly it seems like a safe idea to go for, given that there's no way white can take that knight, giving 2 sets of doubled isolated pawns. Right, Robert?
Wrong, Danny. It looks like you can't take that knight on H5 because it, like you said, it gives you 2 sets of double isolated pawns. It gives us the bishop on H4, but actually it works out in white's favor. So after knight H5, G takes H5, rook takes H4, the fantastic shot F6 comes into play, threatening checkmate on G7. Black is forced to take on F6 here, and after rook E8 check, king H7, here we had a competitor for move of the week, queen G6 check. Black is forced to take on G6 here, Danny, and after bishop G8 check, king H8, bishop F7 check, Gelfand threw in the towel because next move is mate in 1 after bishop takes G6 or H takes G6 checkmate. So it looks like knight H5 was a good move at first glance, but unfortunately for Boris Gelfand, it ends in a quick defeat.
Yeah, and well said, partner. It's interesting that you really have to be careful anytime you make moves around your king side, even ones that seem like a no-brainer. There's no way white can get away with taking that knight, but as you said, I was wrong, and Krupensky had the foresight to know that there was the potential for, even if it's sort of an obscure and rare mating net, it's still a beautiful one. The light squares are just falling apart. White has the pleasant choice of mating with a bishop or pawn. Not every day you get to have that, and for that, we give Gelfand the blunder of the week, and we will see you in next week's Chess Center, my friend. Well, Sean, it's time to take a look ahead for the first time in 2016. Everybody's getting ready for Wyke and Z, so dust off those old binoculars. We're going to try to predict the future. We know they were your favorite Army toy as a kid, but hopefully for the right reasons. And we only have to look a couple days down the road, so don't get too excited here. January 15th will be the kickoff of everyone's favorite Super GM tournament that starts off every chess year. That is the Wyke and Z Tata Steel event taking place. Of course, we have a household list of who's who for Super GMs and those who will be dominating our chess world for the years to come. Magnus Carlsen, Fabiano Caruana, Wesley So, Dingley Wren, the list goes on, but the only question that matters is who does Sean McCoy have winning this event?
Well, in this 108 years young tournament, I expect to see Magnus Carlsen pulling off some young talent wins. You know, he's just been on a hot streak lately. I also look to see Fabiano Caruana come out with a strong performance. I think it's kind of his turn to get a good card in this tournament.
Yeah, and you know, I think regardless of who wins it, it's nice to see the big spread between top and low GMs. Do you like that part of the tournament, Sean?
Oh, I love it. It's 200 points from Magnus Carlsen at 28.44 all the way down to Luke Van Whaley at 26.40. And when you have disparities like that, you see exciting games, you see exciting upsets, and you see crushing victories. And I think that's the kind of chess, a very dynamic chess that people love to see.
Yeah, everyone loves a good train wreck, right, as long as it's on the chessboard. And let's move down the list here into the B group, because I think the challengers section on the topic of having exciting chess games never fails to deliver either. This year we have a similar sort of format as the organizers have always been known to throwing together. An older list, maybe not over the hill, but some super GMs who are a little bit past their prime, guys like Nisipianu, Dreyev. You have Safarli, Bhaskaran. These guys are there to take on a group of young up-and-comers as well, guys like Benjamin Bach and Sam Sevion. And I'm going to actually take Bach to win this event, defend his home turf. I see him building off of his super strong performance, something that got overshadowed when Carlsen won the London Chess Classic, Sean, was that Bach went 8 out of 9 against a field of other GMs as well. That's a studly performance, and I look for Bach to continue to build on that and become one of the stronger grandmasters from the Netherlands this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to throw my chips in for Sam Sevian. I think he's going to make a statement for American chess going forward. I think American chess is stronger than ever, and this is going to be that moment, a breakout moment for him.
You're just a homer. You know that? You're just a big homer. But we love that about you. Everyone who's wondering, where can I watch this exciting event? It will not be on chess.com TV, even though our team is on site. Peter Dockers, Leonard Oots providing the technical coverage. You have to go to the official website, taughtostealchess.com. We encourage everyone to do so. Make sure you watch all of these exciting games, as Sean said, and we will look forward to covering the event in next week's Chess Center. Welcoming back FIDE Master Mike Klein. It's been a couple weeks since you were on the fast and furious end we now have to Chess Center. Mike, are you ready for this final segment?
Bang the gong, Danny.
Let's do it. Gawain Jones recently flew down south to New Zealand. The English Grandmaster wins the Open, but is it really worth it to fly that way across the world to an event dubbed by Nigel Short as the Jet Lag Open?
I don't care how far the Englishman had to travel. If you win the event, yes, of course it's worth it. Now, while down there, Nigel Short said that his recent comments on women in chess did not advance the debate. Do you agree?
Well, whether it's advancing the debate or not, I can say it's probably not doing Nigel any favors as far as how women view him in chess. Moving on to another slightly controversial issue, do you think it's fair for engine operators to adjust the settings of, let's say, Komodo versus Hikaru Nakamura mid-match?
I don't. It feels a lot like 2 against 1 to me for a human to be exercising some leeway there. The U.S. Championship conflicts exactly with Norway chess this year. Do you think it's going to be a problem for the American top 3 to decide?
Well, Caruana, So, and Nakamura will have to make a big decision, and I think it's an unfortunate case of the world's leading elite chess events, once again, not cooperating on schedules. David Bowie was recently photographed playing chess with French actress Catherine Deneuve. Now, do you really believe that David Bowie plays chess that well?
Well, he wrote half the songs of the 20th century and did some acting, so if he's not a chess player, he sure was acting one. Danny, this is our first Chess Center of 2016. Let's have you make one bold prediction for this year.
All right, I'll do it as long as you do one next. I'm going to say that we will have an American, not sure which one it will be, playing against Carlsen in November on American soil for the World Championship.
That'd be exciting. I'm going to go with Magnus Carlsen accepting our standing invite to play in a death match before the year's out.
Well, if he watches Chess Center, then he certainly can't pretend to not know that we have the Open invite waiting for him. I'm not sure which event would have the fans more excited, but I am sure that Chess Center's come to a close. Mike, thank you for joining Time Trouble, and we'll see you again next week.
Thanks, Danny.